to you and welcome to the Splash Live, the one and only show dedicated to the greater West Bloomfield community. I'm Ronnie Dahl. We want to say thank you so much for watching today's show. You know, today we're going to do things a little bit different. We are going to be talking all about our health. You know, the summer months are a motivator for many of us to get fit, and it starts with what we eat. So we'll be checking in with our fitness guru a little bit later in the show. But we do want to start with something I didn't even realize was a problem until I learned about our next guest, which is a great thing about this show. We get to learn new things together. Did you know that up to 15 million adults suffer from swallowing disorders, including our next guest, Rebekahs Altounian. She joins us live now. Good morning. Thank you so much for being with us.
Good morning, Ronnie. Thank you for having me.
Okay, your story is so fascinating to me, but before we kind of jump into the medical device that you designed to help you with your problem, give us a little bit of your background.
So I'm a mom of 3 beautiful daughters. I'm a single mom, and I had my own health crises that surrounded, crazy enough, oral secretion problems. And I was really struggling with this when I was pregnant with my middle daughter, and just kind of literally dreamt of a solution to this problem, and woke up the next day and felt it was a kind of a crazy calling, but decided to really just start to look into the world of swallowing disorders and secretion management, oral secretion management, to be astounded that there's been no innovation in the marketplace. Did a lot of market research to realize there's a real need, and just began to develop a novel product to help patients manage oral secretions when they can't do so on their own. And for my real profession, I've been in the beauty industry my whole life. I started cutting hair in my mid-20s, and to this day I still cut hair in my basement 3 days a week because I love it, but also founded a medical device that has a great, unique opportunity and can service a lot of patients.
So for that, Rebekah, too, when you started doing your research into this, were you surprised how many people have issues with this? The numbers were crazy.
Yeah, I mean, really, we're not even thinking about it. You know, hopefully everybody watching can swallow no problem, but, you know, we swallow 700 times a day without even thinking about it. 1 in 17 people, though, can't. And, you know, it's usually somebody who's got significant illness, neurodegenerative disorders. You know, there's a huge, you know, patient profile that could cause this. But, you know, it's a simple function you don't think about. When you really can't swallow, the symptom of that disease can be catastrophic for your health. And the caregivers, that's a real issue. They're kind of chained to their loved one to help manage. So hearing stories of moms who had their daughter, one mom had her daughter sleeping over the edge of the bed so that the oral secretions would just come out versus choking her in her sleep.
Wow.
That right there impassioned me, and it just became this kind of mission to develop an amazing team around this product to help me launch it into the market.
Okay, because like you said, you were a hairdresser. You didn't have a background in the medical field, but
no.
You designed this device. Tell us more about it.
So the device is called the SWIK oral suction system. Just a little background on oral secretion management. So let's just say that we unfortunately have a patient with ALS. Most ALS patients will lose their swallow. All will eventually in their disease progression. Right now, the current technology was invented in 1907. Wow. So there's been very, very little innovation. You can see it on our website. 1907. You know, it's crazy because we always say when swallowing stops, saliva production doesn't. So how this has gone under the radar this long, nobody knows. But SWIK is made by a patient. So we've really focused our development on patient comfort and what will work for the patient. And it's basically a very soft foam that sits in the inner buccal of the mouth, connects to negative pressure, and organically wicks away secretions from patients. So today you'll make a liter of saliva and you'll swallow 700 times. And if you couldn't, what happens to that? And patients right now, their only option is this hard plastic wand, just like those at the dentist, that are being, administered in hospitals only one time an hour. So you can imagine what happens: aspiration pneumonia, all kinds of unnecessary comorbidities that go along with this disorder. SWIK is just a completely new way of looking at it that gives a hands-free, comfortable solution, and trying to almost mimic swallowing for the patient. We're really excited about the device.
So we're going to try to put up the graphic or your website here, but now all I'm going to think about for the rest of the day is how many times a day I swallow.
Right. And I know. I've also been like, oh my gosh, it becomes something you think about, never thought about it before. But I promise you, if you couldn't, or your child couldn't, or your spouse or your loved one, you'd be thinking about primarily that. Because if you cannot manage that, it's a big problem.
So Rebekah, how do you go from this? Like you said, you suffered from this, but then you had a dream. So
I actually didn't suffer from this disorder.
Okay.
I had thyroid cancer and some rounds of radiation, and then developed an autoimmune disease, which was attacking, of all things, my saliva glands. So being pregnant overtaxed my health, and it's just when my problem was I could not make saliva for a bit. It's actually invented as a delivery system, deliver artificial saliva in the mouth of patients who cannot make saliva. Huge market for that. But I was at a fair with my kids. I witnessed a young mom who had her son in a wheelchair, and she was wiping his mouth, and she was putting that Yankauer in his mouth, and I was just watching them, and I just had a moment like, hey, if I can reverse the pressure on this pump, could we remove secretions from patients' mouths? And that's actually how SWIK came about, and that's what we're going to market with, because what can happen when a patient can't manage their oral secretions is they can die. They can die of aspiration pneumonia, and there's no solution for this. So that's the focus, and that's how the innovation really came full circle to this product here.
Can we talk about really your spirit to actually, you're an entrepreneur. You have to be, because they say that we all have like $1 million idea. It's somewhere in our head. But to actually think about it and put the work in to design it and take it to market. Can you tell us more about that process?
Yes, absolutely. So you are so right. And I just want to encourage anybody who's listening. We're gifted with ideas and, here to care for each other, make the world a better place. And so I would implore you to explore in your mind your ideas and maybe start with the yes attitude, because that's what I do. I just say, okay, yeah, because I tell my daughters, time passes no matter what we do. So you might as well make this journey as full as you can. So if you have an idea, don't be afraid to do it. Just explore it and see what happens. For me, I did just that. I explored it, and the universe brought me the most incredible group of people who were supposed to be involved in this. And I met a medical device design an engineer gal, and she and I worked on this device together. And then I have just this team that just came forward, the most dynamic, smart, amazing people. And that's the other trick. You have to be around people that are smarter than you, that fill the gaps that you don't have, and drop your ego and get them together and just do something awesome. And that's what we've done. Yeah.
I love that, but I'm trying to imagine these beginning conversations. Hey, I may, I'm a hairdresser, but I had this dream. So I think I can design this. Can I get your help? Those first conversations.
Yeah, that sounds pretty crazy, doesn't it? I guess you have to have a tad of crazy in you to do it. But yeah, I don't know. It was called on my heart to do it, and I just go for it. I mean, when that movie, if you build it, they will come,
yeah,
kind of thing. And I kind of held that in my mind the whole time and just moved forward step by step, raising money along the way, just step by step, not diverting my attention. I mean, of course I had to take care of my kids and family and things like that, but just really just the next step. And yeah, that's how it.
When did you start this? How long did it take?
It's been a long time. Off and on, it's been about 7.5 years. stops and starts along the way, funding issues, caring for family, raising 3 kids by I'm a single mom. So it's been stops and starts along the way, but never taking the eye off the end goal. Plus, COVID didn't help us. COVID paused us 2 years, and that was tough, but we're still in it.
That's great. And so the product's going to market now.
The product is going to market right now. It's being studied in Michigan's largest hospital system right now in the ICU on their most critical patients. We are going to market. If anybody listening wants more information, they can find us at salivasystems.com. Our team is great answering questions. We have a great clinical advisor who can help with all of these issues. And yeah, we're ready to roll.
Well, I thank you for not only designing a device that we didn't know we needed, but you're doing it and you're helping so many people. But your story is an inspiration to so many of us out there, because we just say, oh, I can't, this roadblock. You are such an example of knock over the roadblocks and just keep going.
Thank you so much. Yes, but that's for all of us, right? We can all do it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter the journey. If you're a hairdresser designing a medical device, or someone just wanting to start their own show.
Absolutely. There you go. You got it. Right. And you know what? I just believe win or lose, the journey, there's so much success along the way. What I have learned, what the people that come forward, Michigan has a very robust entrepreneurial community there to support. You would be amazed. There's incubators peppered throughout the entire state. People love innovation. People are so willing to help. So it's an exercise in just giving, really, generosity from so many people. It's outstanding. So if you are thinking of inventing something, probably don't start with a medical device, but if you really want to, go ahead. But there's a lot of support locally to help you with that.
Yeah, kind of a tough industry to break into, right?
Yeah.
With that, again, Rebekah, the website, I know you said it once before, but give the website again. Go on, read about the device, but also Rebekah's story, and learn more about this. And maybe you have a family member that is suffering from this, because, like you said, I was surprised that it impacts so many people.
Yeah, unfortunately it does. And, as the population ages and, our cell phones, there's all these new types of cancers in the head and neck that arise that are just causing this disorder. So hopefully nobody knows about it, but if they do, we're here to support at salivasystems.com. The device is the SWIK oral suction system, and give us a call and we'll be happy to help if we can.
Well, Rebekah, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. And also, people should know, we were going back and forth like early this morning. It was like, is 7:30 too early to call you? So thank you again for being gracious with your time.
Ronnie, it was so great to be on. I really appreciate it. And thank you.
I'm motivated now. I am so motivated after hearing your story. Well, you have a happy day. Thanks again.
Oh, you too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Again, you're watching The Splash Live. You're a local channel sharing stories from West Bloomfield, Keagle Harbor, Sylvan Lake, and Orchard Lake. Catch the show live Monday through Friday starting at 9:30 a.m. and on demand at civiccentertv.com. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head-on, visit michigan.gov/flu. Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer. Because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Hey, leave your packed lunch at home today because the food trucks are back. Food Truck Tuesdays return to the Civic Center complex. That's going to be happening every Tuesday. Today's the first one, May 17th. Simply Spanish is going to be over there. Food trucks are going to be located on the south end of the Recreation Activity Center parking lot over at the City Hall area there. Also, we want to remind you, Thursday, it looks like we're going to get rain, I think Wednesday, but Thursday, fingers crossed, it's going to be nice outside. Free family fun. Kids Commotion Summer Concert Series is going to be happening at Marshbank Park on Hill Road here in West Bloomfield. Live music, free inflatables, lots of fun. Bring your blankets, your lawn chairs. Snacks and refreshments are also going to be available for purchase. Starts at 5. And quick reminder, West Bloomfield Park's native plant sale is going to be taking place this Saturday, May 21st from 9 a.m. until noon. But there's a little catch here. You have to pre-order online, and you have until the 19th to do so. There are limited quantities, so you want to go ahead and be sure shop early. Just go to the Parks Department's website to be able to do that. Quick reminder as well, hey, do you know someone that is making a big difference here in our community? We'd like to highlight them from the greater West Bloomfield community, going above and beyond to improve our little corner of the world. Show your gratitude. Tell us about them. We've made it easy. Hey, that code right there, it's a QR code. You just scan it from your phone. Technology is amazing. It brings up a Google form. You just fill that information out with the person's contact info and why you think they should be recognized. It could be a person, a business, or an organization. And you can also find the form by going to civiccentertv.com, because you know why? We are all about the local community. When we come back, we are going to be talking fitness and the food we put in our bodies. That's next here on the Splash Live.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Okay, so most of us have long forgotten our New Year's resolutions to get in shape. Remember that time back in January? I think it took me until February 1st to forget about that. But the summer months can be a great motivator to get back on track. And to help us do that, or you, let's bring in Gayle Taub, nutrition coach and fitness trainer with Gazelle Health. Gayle, so great to have you back on the show.
Good morning, Ronnie.
You are kind of like that little nudge. Every time I see your name, I'm like, I meant to get back on track. I meant to get back on track.
Yeah, well, we all need that from each other. It's really helpful when you have somebody who's kind of there, who's always there, and who helps you remember, got to take care of yourself.
You are that person, not my husband, who brings Twinkies and whole ding-dongs and every other junk food into the house.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking, you said there are 3 pillars to health. Last week, we talked about how you move. This week, we want to talk about how you eat. You know, they say you can't outrun a bad diet. How important is what we put into our bodies?
Wow. Super important. Those three pillars, how you move, how you eat, and how you think, are equally important to one another. There isn't this 80-20 rule or 50-50 rule or one's more important. However, I will say that trying to do everything at once to improve yourself is not a great idea either. So picking one thing out of one of those categories to improve yourself is a really good way to go. Today we're going to talk about food.
You know, it's so hard because I'm like, okay, it's Monday. I don't know what it is. Like, you feel like you need to start on a Monday. You know, I'm going to go to the grocery store on Sunday, and on Monday I'm going to start these new, healthier eating habits. But by Wednesday we run into stress. We don't feel like cooking. What are some tips to try to keep ourselves on track?
So the whole idea of stopping and starting, can you imagine not having to do that? So if you don't have to stop and start, and you just have a good way to take care of yourself that isn't following exact rules every day, because life does not unfold like that for us every day, that you just do what's right for you, and you learn over time how to deal with different situations that are either expected or unexpected. So the biggest tip I have is the idea of, I'll get to it tomorrow once I'm done with today, or I'll get back on track, is perhaps not a great way for any of us to approach doing the right thing for ourselves. It's really about doing something every single day and having little strategies in your pocket for all different situations that you gather over time that will help you to just stay in the zone of taking care of yourself instead of following a rule or not following a rule.
You know, I'm like so many people when I'm on Pinterest, and we see, you know, and I always pin it too, right? Like, how to food prep on a Sunday for the rest of the week, and you see them putting like the salads in the jars so they last longer, or making snack bags to take with you. Do those really work? Is that a good way to approach this?
It only works if you're someone who thinks that that's a good idea and that you enjoy being in the kitchen and prepping and that it helps you. It does not work for everyone. It helps in a lot of ways, but there are other methods that you can use depending on you and what is important to you. So the answer, I think, in short, is not all of the approaches and strategies work for everyone, right? And that's why when people work with me, we find out together what works for you, and we experiment and we try things, and then you notice, you know what, food prep on Monday does not, or Sunday doesn't work for me. I hate being in the kitchen, or I can't get to the grocery store. And so we have a conversation about what would work better in order to kind of keep things on track for that person. And that's where the sweet spot is, when you find something that works for you rather than what everyone else talks about is necessary in the masses.
I love that you're saying that, because it really is about your reality. My day-to-day life is different than the next person's, or the next person, or the next person. And so to be able to talk to someone like you, and you can say, okay, what is your reality? Okay, how can we fix this so that it works within your lifestyle, and you'll make it not a new, you know, a part of a diet, but really it's about changing the way you live.
Slowly but surely. So that's a really good example of what we all get caught up in when we watch the Instagram posts and we listen to other people talk or advise us. None of those people know you. None of them know what you deal with in your world, or what your belief systems are, or what your preferences are, or what feels good, or gives you an opportunity to try something specific that you're interested in, that perhaps we come up with together, or maybe you've been thinking about, and only focus on that one thing. Instead of just saying, I guess I have to food prep. I'm not a kitchen person. I don't know when I don't even know where to go in the grocery store. And by the way, I don't care. I'm somebody who likes to eat in restaurants. So when we have that conversation, it really is very, very focused on figuring out what to try for you. And it's pretty fun and amazing when people start to focus here instead of out there, what can be accomplished. It's the most rewarding, fabulous thing that I've ever experienced in my life, is watching people recognize that.
I love that you said that. Hey, can I take you grocery shopping with me?
Yes, let's go.
Right.
You pick the store and we'll meet.
I've always thought like that would be great if, like, instead of ordering online and having, you know, the Kroger employee pick your food, how about if you have someone at the front who says, okay, let me go shopping with you, right?
Yeah.
Like, I always have good intentions, but you go into the store and you kind of get overwhelmed a little bit.
Yes. So one of the nice things about having me in your corner, working privately with you, is simply that. I've been to the grocery store with my folks. And you know what the fun thing about that is? They get to tell me their favorite foods, and we get to talk about options, right? So maybe there's a favorite snack that they like that isn't really serving them very well and they want to taper back on. I have options, right? I explain how to simply read a label on a product so that you understand how you need to look at that food and know if it's right for you or how much of it is right for you. So the education, but the very personalized education, and I would say even more than personalized, I would say personal.
Yeah.
So personalized, you hear that term all the time. You plug in some information, you get a personalized plan back. That's very different than a personal plan, something personal to you. The only way I'm going to know that is if we talk, if we spend time, if I understand and you share, and then I can guide.
I love that. You know, we have people who are passionate about different subjects so that you can be the expert and guide us as we're trying to make these changes. How does a person really know if they need to change their diet or not?
Awesome question. So I would say that there's a few things that you should pay attention to, and give yourself maybe a week or two to look for these kinds of things. Number one, we're all pretty hard on ourselves, but be honest with yourself. How's your weight, right? Is your weight where it should be? I'm not asking you what you used to be when you were, 22 years old.
Thank you.
In your mid-50s. I'm saying be an honest look at yourself. Are you overweight? Are you underweight? How's that weight doing? Also notice, how do you feel throughout your day, after you eat? Are you starving and kind of binge eat because you've been so busy? How do you feel? Are you energized? Are you sluggish? Do you have a 3 o'clock, a food coma? So notice that. Also notice how you sleep. How is your sleep? We do not talk about that enough as it relates to how we eat. And sleep is critical, and that nice amount of sleep, that's one thing, that's a time thing, but also the quality of your sleep has something to do with how you eat as well as other factors. You also need to kind of look and see, what are your biometrics? And that is a term used about the core medical aspects of yourself, your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your heart rate, all of these things that the doctor can tell you, so we're not making things up, right? And then also, probably the most important, your gut, right? Now, I'm not talking about physically your gut, I'm talking about mentally. You know if there's things in your diet that you're having too much of or too little of. You know in your heart how you're eating. So be honest with yourself. And after you notice these things, make a little list and say, this is what I've seen. And then you can actually choose on your own to clean one thing up. Pick one thing. You know what? I've noticed I don't feel so good after I have lunch every day because I'm sleeping. Let me look and see what I'm eating.
Yeah.
Do I understand? Call a professional. Call me. I'll help you understand.
And with that, I'm so sorry because we're running out of time. We just need to start giving you more time. But again, you can please watch the on demand and get in contact with Gayle. She has so much great advice. That's going to wrap it up for today's edition of the Splash Live. We'll be back tomorrow, 9:30 a.m.